I spent so many years wondering if I could make everybody smile, changing colors like the seasons, walking someone else's mile, trying to fit every expectation, trying to earn every nod, carrying the weight of opinions like a burden I thought I should guard. Then it hit me on a quiet evening while watching city lights below. No matter how hard I tried, there were places I could never go. Not every voice will understand you, not every hand will reach your way. Some connections fade like echoes, some were never meant to stay. And honestly, that's alright. There are faces I don't relate to, people whose worlds feel far from mine. So why would I expect differently from every soul I happen to find? Yeah, a crowded room may overlook you, a stranger may misread your heart. That's not a sign that something's broken, it's simply how human stories start. Because somewhere in this wide world, someone loves the way you laugh, someone feels at home beside you without asking you to wear a mask. There are those who see your scars and never ask you to hide them away. Those rare souls who know the real you and choose to remain anyway. The kind of treasure worth keeping, more precious than endless applause. A bond built on honesty instead of chasing approval's cause. Be yourself without apology, speak your truth without disguise. The right people won't need perfection to recognize the light in your eyes. A handful of genuine connections outshines 1,000 passing names. Authenticity lasts forever, popularity changes with the rain. So stop counting who walked away and notice who stayed near. The ones who celebrate your victories and help you through the difficult years. Hold them close when life gets heavy, protect those beautiful ties. Because real love isn't finding everyone, it's finding the few who make you feel alive and becoming a safe place for them too. A melody came from nowhere while I was walking down the street. Not from the work I planned that morning, but from strangers that I'd meet. An idea arrived unexpectedly while watching rain against a train. A solution hid inside a movie, far away from what I tried to explain. Funny how inspiration travels to places we would never guess, appearing when the mind is wandering instead of chasing progress. A painter finds a color in the sunset, an inventor learns from a tree. A writer borrows from old conversations and shapes them differently. The world is filled with tiny pieces scattered everywhere we go, fragments waiting for a purpose long before we ever know. Sometimes a book seems unrelated, a detour feels like wasted time. A random moment looks unimportant without a reason or a sign. Yet years later those experiences return in unexpected ways, becoming part of something larger than we could see in earlier paths don't always connect immediately. Their meaning often stays concealed, but curiosity keeps collecting them until a bigger picture is revealed. That's why I want to stay open to places outside what I know, to unfamiliar ideas and perspectives that help imagination grow. A wider view creates more pathways, a broader mind discovers more. The answers we're searching for today may wait behind another door. So listen to different stories, explore roads you've never seen, pay attention to small details and everything in between, because nothing is truly meaningless when gathered by a thoughtful heart. Every experience adds a color, every moment plays a part. The world is speaking all around us, offering lessons every day. And one surprising connection could change everything someday. I stand before another turn, a road I've never seen before. No sign to tell me where it leads, no promise waiting anymore. Maybe there's a field of gold, maybe just an empty street. Maybe everything I've hoped for, maybe nothing there for me. The truth is I don't know. Beyond the corner, beyond my sight, there could be answers, there could be another lonely night. But I can't learn the shape of tomorrow by staring from where I stand. So I'll take one more step and trust these restless feet again. There were days I felt no progress, like I was walking without moving. The same sky above my head, the same questions still pursuing. I wondered if the road was real, or if I'd somehow lost my way. But every morning kept arriving, asking me to try again. So I kept going. One step through the doubt, one step through the rain, one step when I had no reason to believe things would change. And though the distance looked the same, something inside me grew. Every mile was teaching me what perseverance can do. Beyond the corner, beyond the bend, life keeps hiding possibilities around every end. Not every road leads somewhere beautiful, not every dream survives, but every journey leaves a mark on the one who tries. And one day I stopped and turned around just to see where I had been. And what once felt like a single hill was a mountain in the wind. I hadn't noticed while climbing, I hadn't seen the height I'd gained, because growth arrives so quietly through ordinary days. The mountain wasn't conquered in one heroic leap, it was crossed in tiny moments when I chose not to retreat. So now when I face another corner and the future disappears from view, I smile a little differently, because I've learned something true. You don't need to know what's waiting to keep moving toward the unknown. You only need the courage to take the next step alone. And someday you'll look behind you at roads you thought you'd walking on. A mirror waits beside the doorway every morning without a sound, reflecting more than just an image, showing what I've carried around. Some days my eyes look heavy, like clouds before the rain, holding on to yesterday's worries and traces of old pain. Without a single word spoken, the heart reveals itself somehow, through the way we meet the daylight and the expression on our brow. It's funny how emotions travel from places hidden deep inside, finding their way to the surface, no matter how hard we try to hide. A weary spirit bends the posture, a troubled mind affects the view. The stories living in our thoughts quietly shine through. That's why I try to notice the face I bring into the day, not with judgment or criticism, but awareness along the way. Am I carrying too much pressure? Am I forgetting how to breathe? Have I let small disappointments become heavier than they need to be? Sometimes a gentle smile begins before the feeling fully arrives, like opening up a curtain and inviting in more light. Not pretending everything's perfect, not denying what's true, but choosing to create a little warmth in the things I say and do. A brighter expression changes more than the reflection looking back. It softens conversations and helps connections stay on track. The energy we share with others often starts within ourselves. A simple spark of positivity can spread to someone else. So when you pass a mirror tomorrow, take a moment just to see the person standing in front of you with honesty and clarity. Then lift your head a little higher. Let kindness fill your eyes, because sometimes a better day begins with the look you choose to wear before you step into the world.
I spent too many evenings wondering what everybody else might say, second guessing every decision, letting doubt stand in the way. A dream sat quietly in the corner, waiting for its turn to breathe, but fear of judgment kept me frozen, holding tighter than I believed. The crowd always has an opinion. I climbing, ready to appear. Some will cheer, some will question, some will never understand why you're here. For a while I chased approval, trying to fit inside a frame, changing colors for acceptance, losing sight of my own name. And one morning came a question, simple as the rising sun. If this life belongs to you, why are you living it for everyone? Keep moving forward like waves slipping through the sand. No one can save tomorrow or hold time in their hands. That's what makes each moment precious. That's what makes today so rare. A chance to follow what excites you instead of carrying someone else's care. The heart knows what makes it come alive long before the mind agrees. There's a compass deep within us, whispering through the breeze. Maybe the road looks unfamiliar, maybe the outcome isn't clear, but regret grows much heavier than taking a chance despite the fear. Dance if music moves you, creative inspiration calls. Speak when something matters, even if your voice shakes through it all. Not everyone will walk beside you, that's simply how life goes. But the people meant to find you will love the truth you chose. So trust your own reflection more than passing words you hear. Build a story worth remembering instead of one designed by fear. Because existence isn't endless, the curtain falls for everyone. And when the final page is written, I hope you'll look back and say, I followed what mattered, I stayed true to myself, I didn't let fear decide. That's a life worth living.
You always had a way with words that kinda stung a little more than they should. A teasing smile, a careless shrug, like nothing in the world could touch you. I'd roll my eyes and look away, pretend your voice didn't stay, echoing in my head all night, long after you were out of sight. You were trouble in the shape of a grin, and I swore I'd never let you in. But everything changed that afternoon when the sunlight caught the side of you. And for a second I could see something nobody else could reach. Behind your smile, behind your jokes, behind the walls you never showed, there was a kindness soft and small, trying not to be seen at all. And ever since that day I knew I've never looked at you the same way. I remember how you stayed behind to help a stranger without telling anyone. The way you acted like it meant nothing, while your eyes quietly gave you away. You kept pretending not to care, but little cracks were everywhere, tiny moments easy to miss. If I hadn't been looking, and somehow those little things became my favorite things. Behind your smile, behind your pride, I found a heart you tried to hide, a gentle light beneath the noise, a softer version of your voice. And every time you laugh at me, I wonder if you secretly know that I'm falling more each day for the kindness you gave away. Maybe love begins like this, not with fireworks in the dark, but with noticing the warmth inside someone's to you were never loud enough to see just small pieces of honesty hidden underneath. Behind your smile, behind your eyes, lives a person full of surprise. And though you still act tough sometimes, I know what's waiting there behind. 'Cause once you've seen a hidden star, you can't forget the way it shines. And ever since that day I knew about the kindness inside of you. Your smile hasn't looked the same, and neither have you.
I used to grip the steering wheel like every turn decided fate, carrying expectations on my back, trying to outrun being late. Every task became a mountain, every deadline felt immense. The harder I pushed against the current, the more I lost my sense. My shoulders carried tension, my thoughts raced far ahead, chasing flawless execution while joy quietly fled. Then a breeze through an open window caught my attention one afternoon. Children laughing in the distance, humming a carefree tune. It made me wonder for a moment, what if I eased my hold? What if determination didn't mean turning every day so cold? A musician finds the rhythm, not by forcing every note. A surfer rides the ocean by learning how to float. The best ideas often visit when the pressure leaves the room. Unexpected inspiration grows where curiosity can bloom. Sometimes effort needs softness, sometimes progress needs space. A relaxed mind notices details a hurried one can't trace. Take a step away from worry, let the noise begin to fade. Trust that constant tension isn't how masterpieces are made. The sky doesn't rush the sunrise, wildflowers don't compete. Nature creates beautiful things without demanding perfect speed. So when the challenge feels enormous, then your thoughts begin to race. Pause, breathe, look around. Notice the beauty in the place. You don't have to wrestle every moment. You don't need to force the view. A lighter heart can often discover what a strange one never knew. Perhaps the answer you're seeking won't arrive through endless strain. Maybe it appears the instant you learn to enjoy the game. Because sometimes moving forward starts with letting go, and the clearest path emerges when you stop trying to control every single step below.
When was the last time you cried? Not a tear you quickly hid away, not a feeling buried deep inside before it had a chance to stay. Somewhere along the road to growing older, many of us learn to hide, to lock emotions in a quiet room and keep the door shut tight inside. We tell ourselves to stay composed, to carry every weight alone, pretending strength means silence, even when pain has fully grown. But hearts were never made for prisons, and feelings were not built to stay confined. What we keep buried in the darkness eventually weighs upon the mind. There is no weakness in surrendering to the sadness that needs release. Sometimes healing starts the moment we stop resisting and find peace. Let the tears fall if they need to, like rain upon a thirsty field. The clouds don't apologize for breaking, and neither should the wounds you feel. Every drop carries something outward, a burden, a fear, a hidden ache, making room for lighter mornings and the fresh start that can awaken. When happiness comes running, throw the windows open wide, laugh until your stomach hurts, let excitement be your guide. Dance without worrying who's watching, sing even if you're off key. Life becomes far more beautiful when emotions are allowed to be free. The ocean doesn't hide its waves, the sky doesn't conceal its storms. Nature embraces every season without worrying about the norms. Perhaps there's wisdom in that rhythm, a lesson simple yet profound. The fullest life is not avoiding feelings, but letting them move around. So don't be ashamed of your sadness, and don't hold back your delight. Allow your heart to tell its story in darkness and in light. Because being grown doesn't mean you have to carry everything alone. It means learning to be honest with the soul you've always known. Cry when your heart is hurting, smile when joy comes near. Live each emotion completely. That's what it means to be here. Dreams are beautiful things. They float above the midnight sky, like distant stars in restless eyes, fragile as a summer breeze, bright enough to make us believe. They whisper promises of more, of places we've never been before. And for a moment we can see the person we might someday be. But dreams alone are only shadows dancing softly in the dark. They cannot build a bridge, they cannot light a fire by themselves. A dream is just a dream until your hands begin the work, until your feet touch the road and your heart accepts the hurt. Because wishing changes nothing if nothing changes in return. The world is moved by effort, not by longing alone. I've watched 1,000 dreams fade away, not because they weren't beautiful, but because nobody carried them through the ordinary days, through early mornings, through late nights, through failure after failure, through sacrifice. That's where dreams become real. Not in the moment they're imagined, but in the moments they're defended. One more hour, one more page, one more step across the stage, one more lesson from defeat, one more reason not to leave. Effort is the language of change, the force behind every revolution, the invisible engine driving every transformation. Every city, every song, every mountain 1,000 days of work. Dream, do, do, do. Dream, dream. Dreams are beautiful. Dream, do, do, do. But effort is beautiful too. Because effort turns possibility into reality. Effort turns hope into progress. Effort turns vision into life. So dream with all your heart. Let your imagination fly. But when morning comes, get up, show up, do the work. Because dreams may inspire the future, but effort creates it. And every great change the world has ever seen began with someone who refused to stop trying. The morning doesn't wait for me. The sun still rises endlessly. No matter how I feel inside, the clock keeps moving with the tide. I used to hope somebody else would show me how to help myself. A voice, a sign, a guiding light to carry me through every night. But life kept teaching me the same. No one can walk my road again. I've got to face tomorrow. I've got to make my way. No one else can live these hours or spend my borrowed days. They may help me when I'm falling. They may help me stand. But in the end, this life is built by my own hands. I watch the years keep rolling by, dreamers waiting for the perfect time, looking out beyond the door while life was passing evermore. And slowly I began to see the answer wasn't coming to me. It was hidden in the smallest things, the daily choice to begin again. 'Cause every step I ever take is mine alone to make. I've got to face tomorrow. I've got to make my way. No one else can fight my battles or chase my fears away. They may love me through the struggle, they may understand, but in the end, this life is built by my own hands. It's not lonely, it's just true. We're given skies to travel through, and though we're never fully alone, we still must find our way back home. Maybe that's the gift and cost of being alive at all. The freedom to become ourselves, the freedom to stand or fall. So I'll stop waiting for rescue, stop wishing for a sign, and start building something real, one day at a time. I've got to face tomorrow. I've got to make my way. The road ahead is uncertain, but I'll walk it anyway. And when I reach the evening of the life I've lived and planned, I hope I can say honestly, I built it with my own hands. There was a season without color, a stretch of days that felt so long. Every smile seemed far away then, every note a broken song. I carried questions through the darkness, wondering when the hurt would end, learning how heavy silence feels when there's no hand to lend. At the time I only saw the struggle, the sleepless nights, the falling rain. I never guessed those moments would teach me something through the pain. Now when I see a tired stranger trying hard to hide their tears, I recognize the quiet language I've spoken through the years. A person who has never stumbled may not notice who's left behind, but someone who has known heartbreak can offer a gentler kind, because sorrow teaches listening in ways comfort never can. It helps us see the hidden battles behind another person's plan. Who know what loneliness feels like often make the warmest friends. The ones who have walked through darkness become lights when night descends. A laugh means more when you felt sadness. A sunrise shines brighter after rain. The sweetest words are often spoken by those who understand pain. Not because suffering is beautiful, not because anyone should fall, but because difficult experiences can deepen the heart of us all. Every tear became a lesson, every wound revealed a way to bring a little more kindness into someone else's day. A smile offered at the right moment, a joke that eases someone's fear, a simple act of understanding that says, I'm with you here. The heart expands through hardship, compassion grows from what we've known, and the people who bring the most joy often have carried burdens of their own. So don't despise your broken seasons or wish every struggle away. They may become the very reason you brighten another person's day. The mountain looked enormous, standing far against the sky. Its peak disappeared in the distance, beyond where I could see with my eyes. I wanted instant progress, a shortcut to the end, something to erase the distance without effort to expend. But life has never worked that way. It moves in smaller pieces instead. A choice made in the morning, a lesson quietly learned. Some evenings leave you wondering if you've done enough at all. When the finish line feels distant and your achievements seem small, it's easy then to focus on everything left to do, to overlook the ground you've covered while staring at the view. Yet every path is measured not by leaps trips across the land, but by countless ordinary moments taken one step at a time by hand. A single page becomes a novel, a brick becomes a home, a drop of rain becomes a river flowing toward the unknown. The oak tree starts as an acorn, the sunrise begins with a glow. The greatest transformations happen more slowly than we know. So don't say I only moved a little, don't dismiss what you've achieved today. The fact you're still advancing means you're finding your own way. Maybe the pace feels modest, maybe the distance remains wide, but the destination grows closer with every stride. Progress doesn't need permission to arrive in grand display. Growth often wears ordinary clothes and quietly appears each day. Trust the process of becoming, trust the effort that you've made, even when results seem hidden beneath the work you've laid. Because tomorrow's victories are built from today's unseen climb. And every honest action adds another piece in time. So lift your eyes toward the horizon and give yourself some credit too. You didn't stand still today, you moved forward, and that's more powerful than you think. There will be roads you never saw, and days that leave your spirit worn. There will be nights that feel too long, and battles you don't think you'll win. You'll make mistakes along the way, lose your balance, lose your faith. Sometimes the world will feel too heavy to carry on your shoulders, but listen closely, my friend. You will stumble more than once, you will fall before you're done. That's not weakness, that's just life. That's how every heart survives, because inside you lives a strength stronger than you know today. And every time the ground gives way, you'll find a way to rise again. I've seen storms bend the tallest trees, yet somehow they still reach the sky. I've seen broken wings learn to fly after learning how to heal. The scars you fear will mark your skin, may become the proof you've been through the fire and through the rain. Still remain. You will stumble more than once, you will doubt what you've become, but every chapter that feels lost will teach you something worth the cost. Because courage isn't never falling, it's answering every fall with one more step, one more breath, one more try. The road may twist and turn, but every challenge that appears will leave another lesson learned. And one day you'll look behind at mountains that you thought you'd never climb, and smile at the person who almost gave up at the time. You will stumble more than once, you will fall before you're done, but you've already that's carried you through every dark and lonely blue. It's still there, it's always been there. And when tomorrow tests your heart and everything falls apart, remember this simple truth: you are stronger than the thing you're facing, and you will rise again. Again and again. I used to wonder why it hurt, why some nights felt longer than the world, why the weight upon my chest never seemed to let me rest. I walked through shadows on my own, felt the silence, felt alone, but every tear that touched the ground left a lesson I have found. Because I know the rain, I can recognize the pain hidden behind a smile or laughter for a little while. And because I've known the dark, I can help someone find a spark. Sometimes the brightest light can be a heart that knows what grief can mean. I've seen people carrying storms, trying hard to stay strong, holding back what they can't say just to make it through the day. So when I see that look in their eyes, I don't need an alibi. I know the language of the hurt, the silent weight beneath the words. Because I know the rain, I can recognize the pain, and every wound I've lived through helps me understand you. The tears I cried were not in vain. They taught compassion through the pain, and every scar upon my soul made another broken heart feel whole. Maybe sadness has a gift hidden in the depths of it, not to keep us feeling low, but to help another person grow. Because the ones who know despair often become the ones who care, and the hearts that have been torn apart learn how to shelter other hearts. Because I know the rain, I can help someone through theirs again. And if my suffering taught me one thing, it's how to help another sing. So I won't regret the nights I cried, or all the times I wondered why. Because the pain I carried then helps me bring joy to someone else again. And when the clouds begin to clear, I'll be grateful they were here. Because the deepest love I've ever known was born from sorrow I outgrew.
I still remember ordinary days turning extraordinary somehow. A quiet conversation in the evening feels like magic even now. Two different stories crossed each other. Two separate roads became one line. No one could have written better, a chapter shaped by space and time. We weren't born beneath one rooftop, we don't share the same last name from birth. Yet something deeper tied us together, far beyond blood or earth. There are moments when we disagree. Silence fills the room for a while. Words arrive a little sharper than either of us would like. But even in those difficult hours, when emotions run too high, the reason we keep fighting through it is because neither wants goodbye. I wanna know every version of you, the fearless one, the fragile one too, the dreams you hide behind your laughter, the thoughts that only visit after midnight blue. A lifetime feels too short sometimes to uncover all that's in your heart. Every season reveals another color, another beautiful work of art. When you smile, something changes. The weight I carry disappears. A brighter world arrives without warning and washes away the noise and fears. No treasure could ever replace it. No victory could mean as much. That simple expression on your face still carries a healing touch. Years from now our hair may silver, photographs may start to fade. The mirror may tell a different story than the one reflected today. Yet I can picture us together, walking slowly down familiar streets, trading stories, sharing memories, finding comfort where our footsteps meet. Life won't always be easy. Unexpected storms will come and go. Certain plans may fall apart, leaving us with paths we didn't know. Still I choose this journey again. Every challenge, every scar, 'cause every road becomes worth taking the moment you're where you are. If tomorrow brings uncertainty and the future feels unclear, take my hand like you always have. You'll never face it alone, my dear. My only selfish wish is simple. Though time keeps moving on, keep turning toward me with that laughter, the one I've loved for so long. And if one day the world grows heavy, if hope feels difficult to find, look beside you, you'll see a man still grateful that somehow your life intertwined with mine. Not because everything was perfect, not because we never fell apart, but because through every passing year you've remained the most beautiful home my heart has ever known.
We all arrive with open hands. No promises, no master plans. Just a beating heart inside and miles of road we cannot see. Some will chase the morning sun, some will stop before they run. Some will build, some will break, some will learn through their mistakes. They say we're born to find our way, to seek the light of brighter days. And maybe that's a beautiful truth, but there's another one there too. We all have the right to happiness, to love, to dream, to do our best. But we also have the freedom to fall, to lose our grip and risk it all. Because freedom isn't only grace, it's facing choice and every consequence. The right to rise, the right to fail, the right to wander off the trail. I've seen people lose their way, chasing shadows day by day, and others find a second start after breaking their own hearts. Life was never meant to be a perfect path to victory. It's 1,000 choices in the dark, and every choice becomes a mark. No one can live your life for you or tell you what you're meant to do. The beauty and the burden both are carried in the things we choose. We all have the right to happiness, but no one knows us success. And every dream worth holding near walks beside uncertainty and fear. Because freedom means the sky is wide. Not every road leads to the light, but every road is yours to take, and every loss is yours to make. Maybe that's what makes us human. Not perfection, not illusion, but the courage to decide how we'll spend this borrowed life. So if I stumble, let me fall. If I rise, let it be my own. I'll take the scars along the way and call them proof that I was free. We all have the right to happiness and the freedom to become a mess, to lose ourselves and find ourselves again beneath the stars. And when the final evening comes, I hope I say without regret, I lived this life the only way I could, and that was enough.
A 1,000 signals fill the city, traffic lights and ringing phones. Screens illuminate the darkness while everybody rushes home. We learn to hear the outside world, the noise of every passing day. Yet something softer often whispers and gets ignored along the way. Beneath the surface of a smile, behind the words we choose to say, there's a quiet language speaking in its own mysterious way. You can't hold it in your hands, you can't measure it with your eyes. Still it's more precious than diamonds and far more delicate than time. A tired spirit asks for rest, and aching soul longs to be heard. Sometimes the deepest messages arrive without a single spoken word. The people standing all around you, carrying visible stories too. Battles hidden behind laughter, dreams they're trying to pursue. A stranger's silence may hold sadness, a friend might need a little grace. Someone could be fighting storms behind a calm and steady face. That's why kindness matters greatly, why patience leaves a lasting mark. A gentle word can become a candle inside another person's dark. Take a moment from the hurry, let compassion slow your pace. Notice what lives beneath expressions and the emotions they embrace. Your own inner world needs care as well. Don't abandon what you feel. Ignoring every warning sign won't help a wound to heal.
washed and start speaking softly. A loneliness knocks at the door. Listen before it grows louder than it ever was before. Because the most valuable things in life are often difficult to see. Trust, affection, understanding, and quiet empathy. Protect them with attention, nurture them with honesty. Treasure every fragile connection as carefully as can be. For beneath every heartbeat and beyond every role we play, there lives something beautiful, waiting to be understood.
I used to stare into the mirror, searching for what should be fixed, counting every flaw and failure, adding them to a growing list, comparing my reflection to impossible standards in my head, believing worth was something earned if every weakness could be shed. But life has a funny way of teaching lessons over time. The people I admire most were never polished like a diamond shine. Some speak too loudly when excited, some lose their way from time to time. Others carry scars from old mistakes, yet somehow their spirits still climb. The cracks don't make us lesser, the rough edges aren't a curse. Those imperfect little details are part of every human verse. A handwritten note isn't beautiful because every letter's straight. A melody moves the heart, not because it's mathematically great. The moon carries countless marks across its silver face at night, yet nobody calls it broken when it fills the sky with light. Why are we kinder to strangers than we are to ourselves? Why do we offer understanding to everyone else? Maybe it's time to stop fighting every part that isn't ideal and start treating ourselves gently with honesty that's real. You don't have to hide your struggles, you don't need to wear a disguise. Strength isn't pretending, perfection's meeting yourself with open eyes. There will be moments of hesitation, days when confidence feels small, times when old habits return again and you stumble after all. That's alright. Growth isn't a straight line upward, and healing doesn't happen overnight. Every person is a work in progress, learning as they walk through life. So when you notice your shortcomings, don't turn them into a chain. Don't let self-judgment convince you that your existence is in vain. Instead, take a breath and remember, you are allowed to be unfinished. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to keep becoming, because being human was never about perfection. It was always about learning how to love yourself anyway.
was a time I thought the darkness would never loosen its hold. Every morning felt a little heavier, every night a little cold. I carried heartbreak like a suitcase filled with memories and regret, wondering if the pain I felt was something I'd never forget. But time kept moving quietly, even when I couldn't see the person I was becoming, hidden underneath the debris. The rain didn't last forever, the storm eventually passed, and somehow all those broken pieces helped me build a stronger path. Now when life brings challenges, I don't fear them like before, because I've walked through difficult seasons and found another shore. People who have known real sadness understand the value of the sun. They don't take simple joys for granted when a brighter day has come. A smile means more after sorrow. Hope shines stronger after doubt. Those who've climbed from deeper valleys know what life's about. The heart grows wider through hardship, compassion grows through pain, and the person who has faced the shadows can dance freely in the rain. I've met the strongest souls in silence, people carrying unseen scars, yet somehow they still choose kindness and keep reaching for the stars. Not because life treated them gently, not because they never fell, but because they learned that healing can grow from difficult chapters as well. Every tear became a teacher, every setback left a clue, every wound revealed a strength they never knew they knew. So if you're standing in a dark place and the road seems hard to see, trust that this chapter is shaping who you're meant to be. Because growing older isn't measured by the number of years you've known. It's learning how to carry pain and still let your spirit shine on. The people who love life the deepest often know what heartbreak means, for they have seen the darkest nights and still believe in morning. Two travelers reached the same hillside, one sighed at the climb ahead, the other smiled at the view awaiting beyond the path they hadn't tread. The ground beneath them never changed, the distance stayed the same, yet each carried a different picture and called it by a different name. It's funny how perspective works like sunlight through a stained glass frame, changing colors, changing meaning, while the object stays the same. I've met people called too quiet, who simply listened more than they spoke. I've met dreamers labeled careless, whose hearts carried endless hope. Sometimes stubbornness is persistence, sometimes caution becomes wisdom. What looks like weakness from one angle may reveal unexpected strength within. A closed door can feel discouraging or become a chance to grow. A wrong turn may seem frustrating until it leads where you should go. The world is rarely one-dimensional. Life has more than black and white. There are countless shades between them, waiting for a different light. close. Judgment often builds a wall. The more we learn to look around, the more we understand it all. Perhaps that person you struggle with carries a story you don't know. Perhaps the challenge you're resisting has something valuable to show. A mountain looks completely different depending where you choose to stand, and understanding grows much deeper when we widen our command of the way we see each moment, of the lens we place on life, choosing openness over certainty and learning beyond being right. So before deciding what something means, take another look and see. There may be beauty hidden somewhere outside your first impression's reach, because wisdom isn't found in always having the answer. It's found in being willing to see another side. A list of goals upon the table, a calendar filled to the edge. Every task demanding excellence, every promise feeling like a pledge. I kept telling myself, do better, don't make mistakes this time. Turning every simple challenge into a mountain I had to climb. The pressure sat upon my shoulders like a weight I couldn't shake. Fear of every tiny misstep, fear of every possible mistake. The harder I tried to control it, the more exhausted I became. What started as motivation slowly changed its name. Joy disappeared from the process. Curiosity faded away. The thing I once loved doing began to feel like work each day. And life whispered something simple during a quiet afternoon. What if enough is enough sometimes? What if you don't have to reach the moon? The sky doesn't ask for perfection before displaying shades of blue. Wildflowers don't compare themselves to every flower blooming too. A river keeps moving forward without worrying about the bend, and somehow it still reaches the place it's meant to end. Maybe we're allowed to be human, maybe flaws are part of the design. Maybe growth isn't about perfection, but showing up and trying over time. Take a breath and loosen your grip, let some tension drift away. You don't have to carry the world on your shoulders every day. A relaxed mind sees possibilities the pressure often leaves behind. Fresh ideas arrive more freely when there's space inside your mind. Not every step must be flawless, not every effort must amaze. Sometimes progress looks like moving through ordinary days. Trust yourself a little more, laugh when things don't go as planned. The journey becomes much lighter when you stop demanding every answer at hand. Because the goal was never perfection, it was learning, growing, living, and enjoying the road along the way. You always had a way with words that kind of stung a little more than they should. A teasing smile, a careless shrug, like nothing in the world could touch you. I'd roll my eyes and look away, pretend your voice didn't stay, echoing in my head all night, long after you were out of sight. You were trouble in the shape of a grin, and I swore I'd never let you in. But everything changed that afternoon when the sunlight caught the side of you, and for a second I could see something nobody else could reach. Behind your smile, behind your jokes, behind the walls you never showed, there was a kindness soft and small, trying not to be seen at all. And ever since that day I knew I've never looked at you the same way. I remember how you stayed behind to help a stranger without telling anyone, the way you acted like it meant nothing while your eyes quietly gave you away. You kept pretending not to care, but little cracks were everywhere, tiny moments easy to miss if I hadn't been looking. And somehow those little things became my favorite things. Behind your smile, behind your pride, I found a heart you tried to hide, a gentle light beneath the noise, a softer version of your voice. And every time you laugh at me, I wonder if you secretly know that I'm falling more each day for the kindness you gave away. Maybe love begins like this, not with fireworks in the dark, but with noticing the warmth inside someone's guarded heart. The things that drew me close to you were never loud enough to see, just small pieces of honesty hidden underneath. Behind your smile, behind your eyes, lives a person full of surprise. And though you still act tough sometimes, I know what's waiting there behind, because once you've seen a hidden star, you can't forget the way it shines. And ever since that day I knew about the kindness inside of you. Your smile hasn't looked the same, and neither have you.
Some weeks feel like heavy weather, gray skies hanging overhead. One disappointment follows another, leaving restless thoughts unsaid. The door closes without warning, bad news arrives out of the blue. Plans unravel in slow motion, nothing seems to break through. When enough weight gathers at once, it's easy to lose perspective there. A difficult season starts whispering that struggle is everywhere. The mind can turn into an entire book, convincing us the current moment is all there is to look at. But rivers don't stop flowing, because winter fills the land, and trees don't doubt the coming spring, while branches bare still stand. A photograph captures seconds, not the whole journey through the years. One storm cannot define an ocean, one evening cannot own your tears. I've learned that painful stretches often shrink when viewed from afar. What felt endless in the darkness becomes a temporary scar. The road keeps moving forward, even when progress hides from sight, and dawn has never failed to arrive after the longest night. So when everything feels broken, try stepping back for a while. Look beyond today's horizon and the burden of each mile. See the bigger picture forming past the worries of this day. Remember how many times before the clouds eventually drifted away. Strength isn't always pushing harder. Sometimes wisdom quietly grows through observing your own story from a place above the lows. A calm mind sees more clearly than a heart consumed by fear. Distance often reveals meaning that wasn't visible from here. Hold on through the rougher chapters. Don't let temporary pain decide the value of the entire journey, or the beauty still inside. Because this isn't the ending, it's only a passing scene. And somewhere beyond the darkness, a brighter season waits unseen.
They told me to dream bigger, reach higher than the sky, find a purpose, find a reason, never stop asking why. They said the world belongs to the ones who leave a mark, but what about the quiet souls just trying to survive the dark? I spent years chasing something I couldn't even name, thinking I had to become somebody to justify my place. But then I watched the seasons turn, the ocean meet the shore, and I wondered if existence needed anything more. Maybe it's enough to wake up with the sun, to feel the rain upon your face, and know that you're still here. Maybe it's enough to laugh and cry in love, to stumble through this fragile life and call that being alive. We're born without a map, without a trophy in our hands, no promise of greatness, no perfect master plan. We arrive with beating hearts and leave with open hands. Everything between those moments is more beautiful than we understand. You don't have to be a hero, you don't have to save the world, you don't need a grand ambition to prove what your life's worth. Because every breath you take, every morning that you rise, is already a quiet miracle happening before your eyes. Maybe it's enough to simply be and see the colors of an ordinary day unfolding peacefully. Maybe it's enough to share a little kindness, to sit beneath all be memories, names carried by the wind. So I spend every moment trying to become something. The river doesn't apologize for flowing to the sea. The flower doesn't question if it's all it's meant to be. So I'll stop chasing forever and hold this moment close. The fact that I was born at all might be the greatest gift I know. Maybe it's enough to live this life completely. Not perfectly, not famously, just honestly and deeply. Maybe it's enough to be here while I'm here. To be born, to live, to love, to leave and disappear. And when the final evening comes and all my days are through, I hope I smile and whisper softly, it was enough.
The alarm rings in the morning. Another sunrise paints the glass. The clock begins its silent countdown while another day starts to pass. Tell me, are you truly living? Does excitement fill your chest? Or are the hours slipping through your fingers like a guest who never rests? Are you chasing something meaningful? Do your footsteps have a flame? Or are you walking through familiar circles without remembering why you came? Nobody owns forever. No bargain buys extra years. No amount of wealth can purchase a single moment that disappears. A sunset cannot be saved. A heartbeat cannot be stored. Every second leaves without warning, closing an invisible door. That's why today is priceless, far beyond silver or gold. A gift more rare than diamonds, a treasure impossible to hold. Picture the person you dream of becoming. See that future standing there, eyes alive with purpose, moving freely through the air. Maybe they seem far away now, separated by distance and time, but every step taken with intention turns a valley into a climb. Don't wait for perfect conditions, don't wait for certainty to arrive. The road reveals itself through movement, not while standing still in disguise. There will be stumbles and wrong turns, moments when confidence fades, unexpected storms on the horizon, long nights and difficult days. But scars are proof of effort, and mistakes are proof you tried. Regret grows heavier than failure when potential stays locked inside. Look around this evening, one day all of this will change. The conversations, places, seasons, nothing remains exactly the same. So laugh loudly while you're here, love deeply while you can. Give everything to what matters and become the person you plan. Don't let another sunset leave without giving something back. A lesson learned, a dream pursued, a courageous act along the track. When the future finally finds you standing where ambition led, I hope you'll smile and say, I didn't waste my chance. Now take a breath, lift your eyes and run toward the life only you can create.
used to think that happiness was waiting somewhere far away, beyond the next achievement or a better, brighter day. Always chasing distant sunsets, always reaching for the sky, believing joy lives somewhere else, just beyond my sight. So I kept running toward tomorrow, certain something still was missing, while countless little miracles passed by without me listening. A warm cup on a quiet morning, sunlight dancing on the floor, the sound of laughter in another room, a familiar knock upon the door, a favorite song through open windows, rain tapping softly on the glass, an unexpected kind conversation, a memory that makes me laugh. None of them seemed extraordinary, none arrived with flashing lights, yet somehow they carried beauty hidden in plain sight. The world is full of precious moments, too small for headlines to explain, tiny pieces of contentment scattered like drops of rain. Sometimes we move so quickly that we forget to truly see how much wonder already surrounds us in ordinary simplicity. A flower growing through concrete, the colors painted in the dusk, the comfort of a trusted friend, a promise built on trust. These gifts don't ask for attention, they quietly wait nearby, patiently reminding us there's richness in this life. Maybe fulfillment isn't found at the end of some distant road. Maybe it's discovered gently when we set down the load and pause for just a moment to notice what is here, the blessings we've been standing in, the things we hold so dear. Take a breath and look around, let gratitude slow your pace. You may find what you've been searching for has never left this place, because joy isn't always waiting ahead. Sometimes it's sitting beside you, and all it asks is to be noticed. Some mornings arrive with sunshine, others come wrapped in gray. There are days when motivation feels so far away. The mirror doesn't always show the version we hope to see. And sometimes even simple things take more energy than they need. That's part of being human. No one shines all the time. Even the brightest summer sky eventually welcomes clouds to climb. There are moments silence, when laughter feels distant, when worries occupy the room, when every little inconvenience seems to bloom into gloom. But I've learned a quiet secret on ordinary afternoons. A small act of kindness to yourself can change the entire tune. A favorite song through headphones, fresh coffee in a favorite cup, a walk beneath the evening colors when the world starts slowing up. Tiny things can shift the balance more than we often understand. A gentle pause, a deep breath, a moment not tightly planned. The heart needs care and attention, just like a garden in spring. A little patience, a little warmth can change everything. Nobody else is responsible for every feeling that appears, but we can choose how we respond to challenges and fears. We can create small pockets of joy inside an ordinary day, finding reasons to feel grateful even when things don't go our way. Not because every problem vanishes, not because life becomes easy overnight, but because hope grows stronger when we protect our inner light. So when today feels complicated and a smile doesn't come naturally, be gentle with yourself. Find something beautiful, find something meaningful, find something that makes your spirit breathe. And little by little, the weight may start to fade as you learn that happiness sometimes begins with the way you treat yourself. Some days I move like the wind, some days I barely move at all, watching people race ahead while I struggle just to crawl. There were times I felt ashamed of the pace that I was keeping, like somehow every slower step meant I was falling behind. But the road taught me something, the years helped me understand. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. A river reaches the ocean, not by rushing, but by flowing on. Every step is still a step, every mile begins the same, and every dream that's ever lived was carried forward day by day. I've seen mountains climbed by patience, more than strength or speed alone. I've seen quiet hearts go farther than anyone had ever known. Because progress isn't always loud, sometimes it's hard to see, sometimes it's just getting up when yesterday drained everything. One more breath, one more try, one more sunrise passing by. It doesn't matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. The stars don't hurry through the heavens, yet they arrive exactly where they should. Life is not a race to finish, it's a journey to become. And every step you keep on taking is proof you're still moving on. When I look back at where I've been, the distance takes me by surprise. The little steps I almost doubted built a road across my life. I never noticed while I walked, I never felt the mountain move, but somehow the view behind me changed with every step I chose. So if you're tired, walk slowly. If you're hurting, walk slowly. If you're afraid, walk slowly. Just don't stop. trust that you continue. And one day you'll turn around and smile at how far you've come. Not because you ran, but because you kept going. The morning doesn't wait for me. The sun still rises endlessly. No matter how I feel inside, the clock keeps moving with the tide. I used to hope somebody else would show me how to help myself. A voice, a sign, a guiding light to carry me through every night. But life kept teaching me the same. No one can walk my road again. I've got to face tomorrow. I've got to make my way. No one else can live these hours or spend my borrowed days. They may help me when I'm falling, they may help me stand, but in the end this life is built by my own hands. I've watched the years keep rolling by, dreamers waiting for the perfect time, looking out beyond the door while life was passing evermore. And slowly I began to see the answer wasn't coming to me. It was hidden in the smallest things, the daily choice to begin again. 'Cause every step I ever take is mine alone to make. I've got to face tomorrow. I've got to make my way. No one else can fight my battles or chase my fears away. They may love me through the struggle, they may understand, but in the end this life is built by my own hands. It's not lonely, it's just true. We're given skies to travel through, and though we're never fully alone, we still must find our way back home. Maybe that's the gift and cost of being alive at all. The freedom to become ourselves, the freedom to stand or fall. So I'll stop waiting for rescue, stop wishing for a sign, and start building something real one day at a time. I've got to face tomorrow. I've got to make my way. The road ahead is uncertain, but I'll walk it anyway. And when I reach the evening of the life I've lived and planned, I hope I can say honestly, I built it with my own hands. Some days feel like standing high above the clouds, with the whole world shining at your feet. Other mornings arrive with heavy shadows, and every mile seems harder to meet. That's the rhythm of existence, the rise and fall of every road. No one travels, only sunshine. No one walks without a load. When when fortune paints the sky with colors. Stay grateful for the view. Don't let success convince you that it all belongs to you. And when the valley feels endless, don't surrender to despair. A difficult chapter isn't forever, even if it feels like you're stuck there. Take your time and keep reflecting. Listen closely to your soul. Life is not a race to somewhere. It's the journey that makes us whole. One footprint after another, one lesson gathered along the way. A future isn't built in moments, but through choices made each day. The strongest trees face every season, the deepest rivers carved through stone. Growth comes from continuing forward even when you're on your own. There is meaning in the struggle, there is wisdom in the climb, there is beauty in becoming through the passing years of time. So walk gently through the good days, walk bravely through the storms. Carry kindness in your pocket and compassion in your arms, because every heart was given a chance to laugh, to love, to shine. Not merely to survive the journey, but to discover something divine. Keep moving with quiet courage. Trust the road beneath your feet, for we were never born to stay lost. We were born to find joy, one step at a time. Some were born with lightning hands, some could run before they learned to stand. Some had gifts that filled the room, like stars arriving far too soon. And I would watch from far away, wondering if I'd ever find my place, thinking maybe greatness belonged to people different from me. But time revealed another truth, hidden underneath the noise. Talent may open the door, but it can't walk through on its own. A spark can light a fire, but it can't keep it burning long. Because desire keeps showing up when comfort says stay home, and determination keeps moving when talent stands alone. I've seen gifted people fade away, satisfied with what came easily. And I've seen ordinary dreamers build extraordinary things, not because they had more, not because they knew the way, but because they kept returning to the work every day. One more hour, one more try, one more reason not to quit tonight. Because motivation beats talent when talent refuses to grow. The strongest force I've ever seen is a heart that won't let go. A person who keeps climbing even when the view is gone will someday stand on mountains others only dreamed upon. The road gets long, the nights get cold, the applause disappears, but passion keeps a promise to remain when nobody cheers. That's where champions are made, not in moments of glory, but in the quiet decision to continue the story. if you think you're not enough, if someone else seems far ahead, remember every giant journey begins with a single step. And every dream worth chasing will ask for more than skill. It will ask if you are willing to keep going when talent alone never will. Because in the end, the greatest gift is not ability, it's the refusal to stop believing in what you can become. There were seasons filled with shadows, days that felt too long to bear, moments when the world seemed silent and no answers filled the air. I carried wounds beneath the surface, invisible to passing eyes, smiling through the disappointment, hiding storms behind clear skies. Back then I only saw the hardship, the weight, the ache, the endless climb, never knowing those painful chapters were shaping me with time. Because sorrow has a strange way of teaching what comfort never could. It opens doors to understanding and helps us see the world for good. Now when I meet a weary stranger or hear a trembling voice, something in my heart remembers, and compassion becomes a choice. The tears I thought were pointless were watering unseen ground, preparing something beautiful before it could be found. Just like flowers after rainfall, pushing gently through the earth, kindness blooms from difficult seasons and gives new meaning to the hurt. A person who has known heartbreak can recognize another's pain, offering warmth without judgment, like shelter from the rain. The deepest empathy often grows in places touched by loss, where resilience learns to blossom through every road we've crossed. No struggle is ever wasted, no scar is meaningless. Every challenge leaves a lesson, every trial reveals tenderness. The heart expands through hardship, its roots reach farther down, and from that depth grows something precious that cannot easily be found. So don't despise the difficult moments or wish every tear away. They may become the very reason you brighten someone's day. Because sadness and suffering are not the end of the story. They are the rain that helps the flowers of compassion bloom.
started falling without warning, soaking plans I made all week. A missed train, a broken schedule, the kind of day that felt bleak. Someone beside me cursed the weather, another shook their head in defeat. I looked up and started laughing at puddles dancing in the street. Funny how the same situation can wear a different face depending on the story we choose to place around the space. One person sees an obstacle, another finds a lesson there. One notices only darkness, another spots a silver flare. The world doesn't always change when circumstances rearrange. Sometimes the biggest difference lives inside the frame. A wrong turn can reveal a shortcut, a setback can uncover strength. An unexpected complication may push you beyond your length. I've seen people grow through heartbreak, discover courage through pain, find opportunities hidden inside a season full of rain. Nothing says you have to love it, nothing says you can't feel hurt, but carrying every burden twice only drives you deeper in the dirt. Why not smile at the chaos? Why not joke when things go wrong? Why let a temporary problem control the words inside your song? A light-hearted spirit travels farther than a mind chained down by fear. Optimism isn't blindness, it's choosing what deserves to steer. There will be storms on the horizon, there will be moments you didn't plan, yet resilience grows surprisingly fast when laughter lends a hand. So when tomorrow brings a challenge, don't rush to call it the end. Maybe it's just life inviting you to see things differently again. The event stays the same, the meaning is yours to create. And sometimes the brightest future begins the moment you decide to grin.
I remember standing in the rain, watching your shadow fade away, thinking all the colors of the world had disappeared that day. Every street we used to know felt a little colder now. I couldn't understand back then why life would let us down. I thought goodbye was just a loss, a door forever closed, a chapter ending far too soon, a wound that never goes. But time has a way of teaching what broken hearts can't see. Sometimes what leaves your hands makes room for what is meant to be. 'Cause if we never said goodbye, we'd never meet another sunrise, never find the roads ahead waiting beyond the bend. Every ending carries seeds of someone we have yet to meet, and every tear that falls tonight may guide us to a different light. I carried pieces of your name through seasons that kept changing, and every memory you left quietly rearranged me. The people who walked into my life after you were gone brought lessons, laughter, healing. When I thought all hope was gone, now I see that losing is not always the end. Sometimes it's just life moving towards someone new again. 'Cause if we never let go, we'd never learn to grow, never discover different hearts or who we're meant to become. Every goodbye breaks something, but opens something too. The world keeps turning gently toward possibility. day, because without those partings, without those lonely nights, I might have missed the people who brought me back to life. Because if we never said goodbye, we'd never know hello, never find the unexpected love waiting down the road. And maybe that's the secret hidden in the ache. Every farewell is a bridge to another beautiful day. So when it's time to part again, I'll smile through the tears, knowing every ending is making room for someone near. And somewhere beyond tomorrow, past the sadness and the pain, another heart is walking toward me in the rain. I kept pretending I was strong, holding every tear too long, smiling through the heavy days while my heart was fading away. I thought healing meant standing tall, never letting myself fall. But the weight I carried inside only grew with every night. Sometimes the bravest thing to do is let the sadness pass through you. So let the rain come down tonight, let it wash through tired eyes. You don't have to fight the pain or run away from every ache, because tears are not a sign you're weak. They're how a broken heart begins to breathe. I hit the bottom, touched the ground, where no more answers could be found. And in the silence of despair, I finally stopped pretending I was okay. The tears felt like an open door, releasing what I'd held before. And little by little, day by day, the darkness started drifting away. The storm doesn't stay forever long, even the night gives way to dawn. So let the rain come down tonight, let your sorrow have its time. Every tear that leaves your eyes makes a little room for light, because healing doesn't come from hiding scars. It starts with accepting who you are. What if sadness has a purpose too? What if it's trying to guide you through? Not to break you, not to win, but to help your heart begin again. Because rivers flow after the rain, and flowers bloom through pain. So cry if you need to cry. Don't be afraid of the night. The deepest wounds can slowly mend when you stop trying to pretend. And one day you'll look back and see the tears were carrying you toward peace. The clouds are leaving one by one, a quiet warmth replaces the storm. And somewhere beyond the rain, your smile is waiting again. I've seen conversations crumble over words that weren't that deep. Two hearts standing close together with the distance they couldn't keep. Neither wanted to say I'm sorry, neither wanted to bend. Protecting pride like a treasure while watching the connection end. It's funny how the walls we build often rise from fear inside. A need to always be the strongest, a need to never set aside the image we create for others. The version we want them to see sometimes becomes a heavy burden, keeping us from being free. But relationships aren't won by victories, they're not a game to score. No one remembers who was right when they lose what they cared for. A simple I understand you can heal more than 100 claims. A quiet act of humility can cool the hottest flames. Strongest people I've encountered weren't the loudest in the room. They listened before speaking and gave kindness space to bloom. They weren't afraid to admit mistakes or learn from what they didn't know. Their confidence came from honesty, not from putting on a show. There's beauty in being genuine, in saying exactly what you feel, without hiding behind appearances or armor made of steel. A bridge is built through openness, not through proving who's above. Trust grows from authenticity, and respect deepens into love. The older I become, the clearer certain truths appear. The bonds that last the longest are nurtured through sincerity here. Not status, not reputation, not the need to always win. Just a heart willing to understand and a spirit willing to begin again. So if you wanna grow closer to the people walking by your side, choose kindness over ego, choose listening over defense, choose honesty over appearance. Because what connects one soul to another isn't pride, it's the courage to be humble. There will be roads you never saw, and days that leave your spirit worn. There will be nights that feel too long, and battles you don't think you'll win. You'll make mistakes along the way, lose your balance, lose your faith. Sometimes the world will feel too heavy to carry on your shoulders. But listen closely, my friend. You will stumble more than once, you will fall before you're done. That's not weakness, that's just life. That's how every heart survives. Because inside you lives a strength stronger than you know today. And every time the ground gives way, you'll find a way to rise again. I've seen storms bend the tallest trees, yet somehow they still reach the sky. I've seen broken wings learn to fly after learning how to heal. The scars you fear will mark your skin, may become the proof you've been through the fire and through the rain, and still remains. You will stumble more than once, you will doubt what you've become, but every chapter that feels lost will teach you something worth the cost. Because courage isn't never falling, it's answering every fall with one more step, one more breath, one more try. easier. The road may twist and turn, but every challenge that appears will leave another lesson learned. And one day you'll look behind at mountains that you thought you'd never climb, and smile at the person who almost gave up at the time. You will stumble more than once, you will fall before you're done, but you've already survived days you once believed would break you. So trust the strength that's carried you through every dark and lonely blue. It's still there, it's always been there. And when tomorrow tests your heart and everything falls apart, remember this simple truth: you are stronger than the thing you're facing, and you will rise again.